Alright, so today we are going to do something different. This video is going to be about me chipping up this slab right here. If you remember previous videos, my magnet fishing and draining my my cistern. So this is going to be me chipping up the indoor part of the cistern. I'm not sure why it is encroached in the inside of the house. Over the inside of the house in my basement, and we're going to chip up the cistern. Just in the way this is not needed, and I think it's going to be a lot of work, but let's see how this goes. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we'll do it. Here we go. So at this point, I suspect that of this big rock right here, and the makers of the house 100 years ago didn't want to move it out, so they poured this around it. Not sure why, whatever, but we'll try to get the rock out of there, or at least chip it down to flush to the ground. But yeah. So if you can see that, as I'm trying to chip up the boulder, the rock, there's sparks. So I'm not sure how far I can get with this part, but I'll see what I can do, like around it. But damn. So what I think happened is they needed, for some reason, to build this out for a shelf of some sort, for the cistern or whatever. They used this big rock as a filler. Not necessarily was in the way, it's not that big apparently. They just use it as a filler for to build this. Not sure why they needed it, but had to be careful around it to make sure not to mess up my drainage for my house going out. Don't see evidence of mice in here yet. I know they're getting in the house somewhere through here. So I'm going to try to see what I can do about this piece right now without messing up my drainage. I mentioned. Pretty straight and got my finger and my finger's all bloody. What a workout. Closer. So this hole, so in the corner of a had, they do some cistern gingers there, and on the inside, turn this down for a second. On the inside is, as you saw, this growth or whatever for inside the basement, but this dark hole, that's in the cistern. Not sure why they probably must have built the cistern first and the house around it, but why don't they make the cistern flush with the outer wall or just outside and not literally to be inside the interior of the entire house? So that darkness you there, that's blackness of the cistern. So if I open that lid outside, you'll see daylight. So as I'm chipping, things are falling in the cistern, which happens, and then maybe I can get that out a little later, but for now, just trying to make this all right here go away, so it's flush to this wall, so it's just out of the way, out of the way. In the meantime, just making a big mess, but let's keep it going. All right, not too bad of a day. An hour or so before and after. Bam, that is the after shot right there. You can see that I do have a hole where the cistern goes into the ground there. So as I address this hole, I will try to figure out how to pour here so it's level with the floor, and a way that I can cover this up, maybe with treated lumber, maybe like a 2x4 frame with a roto hammer to build some bolts. So it's still like a box, but the pressure treated lumber won't rot, as opposed to other lumber will rot itself over time, because it may rot or moisture or mold from the incoming moisture from the insert of water. From the water, moisture, whatever else from the cistern. So ideally, I want to have this whole area flush with this foundation. I need to address this drainage so I can access this area here. But I think this is a good start to this process and getting this out of here. So thank you for watching. I hope this was informative or just enjoyable to watch as you're sitting at home with your IPA and your chips. All right, thanks for watching. Cheers.